finding. I didn't look to see if there's any more forwards here.
Pull this back out.
The only thing I'm worried about is that this thing goes over.
Yeah.
Put it in here or no? Just play the chain through. Right to showing through there. I think we're nuts. Keep them up. Yeah, we'll just get going. Yeah, that one has to go.
You can pull that one in.
Yeah, that has to pretty well go to the... Yeah. Reds.
The right way? Does it go the other way?
I'm Bob, KB1DLX, President of the Lakes Region Repeater Association, and with me is Tom Richardson. And Tom, what brings you here tonight?
Well, this weekend is what's called Field Day in the amateur radio community. Amateur radio people in North and now South America are taking part in an emergency communications exercise. The basic activity is to set up amateur radio stations in a somewhat remote location and not use commercial electricity. We have to provide our own electricity in some manner and set up communications as we would during a major disaster of some sort, such as Hurricane Katrina or some major flooding event, that sort of thing. For instance, a few weeks ago in the flooding here in New Hampshire, the towns of Nottingham, Raymond, Deerfield, lost all of their telephone service, including most of the cell phone service. So amateur radio operators set up in the town of Nottingham and provided communications from various locations around town to the 911 center in Concord, so that if there was any emergency, people could come to one of these operators and get a message out requesting fire trucks or ambulance or whatever they might need. And in other disasters of one kind or another, amateur radios in many cases been the only radio system that works. We have a reputation of always working, never failing. For instance, in New Orleans, when Hurricane Katrina hit, for about 72 hours after the storm, the only communications between the people in Washington and the Emergency Operations Center for the entire state of Louisiana was by way of amateur radio operators. They had no telephone, no military links, nothing of that sort was functional, only amateur radio. And that's fairly typical, in large part because our people are capable of doing what they're doing here today. That is to set up a station very quickly with antenna wires that are strung to trees or whatever may be available, and get the message from point A to point B.
Sounds like you've had quite a schedule for today. How many other sites have you visited?
There are 12 sites around the state of New Hampshire, and myself and the other individual that represents the amateur radio service in New Hampshire, Sterling Eanes, we have divided the state in half, more or less, and I have driven from my home in Durham up to Gorham, visited with the folks in Gorham at their field day site, then on down to North Conway to visit their field day site. And now I'm here in Wolfeboro with this association. After I leave here, I'll go down to Rochester to the Great Bay Club, and then on down to the Port City Club on Stratham Hill and Stratham, and probably tomorrow morning on over to the group that's operating in the Derry area. So there's quite a few sites around the state, and between Sterling and myself, we're trying to get to all of them to visit the folks and see how they're doing and provide a little encouragement.
When you say provide encouragement, what have you seen that has been most encouraging?
What I see that's encouraging is simply that there are a lot of people out setting up stations in places like this large field or in the city park in North Conway and Gorham, and that they're so interested in doing this, and of course doing it at no cost to the community. Amateur radio people truly look forward to Field Day every year. It's, for the amateur radio community, one of the major annual events. And not only is it a communications event, but also a social event. Nobody's ever starved to death at a Field Day site. We all eat quite well.
Louis Burnell, KB10KK, Sandwich, New Hampshire.
Dale Smith, KA5WHO in Wolfeboro.
Barry Houston, electrical consultant out of Lake Ossipee, New Hampshire.
My name's Dick Kirkpatrick. My call sign's N1AA, and I live in Ashland, Massachusetts. And I'm glad to be here. This is about my 5th year.
My name is Bruce Beeman. I live in Center Ossipee, New Hampshire, and my call is K1HTN.
Art Buckner, KA1PJT from Wolfeboro.
Dan Morgan, W1UR from Wolfeboro.
I'm Joe, NJ1B. I'm from Ossipee, and I'm also filming for Wolfeboro Community Television.
N1MBD, Millie Buckner, Wolfeboro, New Hampshire.
Steve McQuiston, K1TWC from Waltham, Mass.
Hi, I'm Dennis Garvin, KB1OUO from Haverhill, Massachusetts.
CQ Field Day, W1BST. W1BST Field Day.
No, we're not going to be able to do it. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had to be right, just in the wrong place. W1, Bravo, Sierra Tango?
Yeah, 2 Alpha, New Hampshire.
All right, good old New Hampshire coming in. I got the 2 Alpha, New Hampshire. Please copy 3 Alpha, Echo Mike Alpha.
3 Alpha, Mike.
Echo Mike Alpha, Eastern Mass.
Eastern Mass, thank you very much.
Okay.
W1BST.
CQ Field Day, this is W8XR, calling CQ Field Day.
W1BST. W1BST.
I'm Sarah Silk, I'm Vice Chairman of the Board of Selectmen. I also do hazardous waste, and I'm here with Linda Murray. She's Chairman of the Board of Selectmen for Field Day. We're both on the, we're co-chairs of the Hazard Mitigation Program. We're both on Emergency Management Committee. And we're here because if we did have a real emergency, our local government would interface with ham radio operators, perhaps because there might not be electricity. As a hazardous waste person, I'm here because you may have a problem with hazardous waste that might need to be stored or removed from site during an emergency, and that would tie all into the emergency as a whole. I also have to be cook for the weekend. There's no skills that can't be used in an emergency. Linda?
Yeah, well, I'm out here today to see the ham radio. I've never seen this in operation before, and as Sarah said, it's very important for our emergency management plan to be able to interface with the ham radio club if for any reason we had no electricity or way to communicate. And so I'm excited to see what they were able to do out on an open field.
It's interesting because in this day of technology, people think of cell phones and computers and all of those new modern things, and here we can see people using Morse code, which is a very old form of communication, as well as regular ham radio voice mic operation, and it's all run off of a generator, temporary power with temporary antennas, because in an emergency everything would have to be set up on the spot wherever you might need to go.
Yeah, and I brought my grandson out here today to also see it, and he got to see Morris Code, so that was exciting.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Waited at MIT and went to work for Raytheon doing war work, radar.
So it's sort of been 1940 or so, or the 40s, yeah?
The guy's 92. And I says, I always loved driving by his house because he had a big windmill tower with a big beam on the top, and that windmill tower was really cool. He says, oh, that windmill tower was my father's in Brockport, New York, and we took it down and brought it to Bridgewater. I said, my grandfather was the principal of the high school in Brockport, New York, and I never knew him. He died before I was born. He says, your last name must be Beeman. He says, I knew your grandfather. We lived right next door to the school.
Oh, for Christ's sake. What a small world. You ever get that? That's South Dakota, too. Okay.
CQ contest from W1BST. Whiskey 1 Bravo Sierra Tango.
Whiskey 1 Bravo, Bravo Sierra Radio. 4 Alpha Victor.
QSL, the call sign Whiskey 1 Bravo Sierra Tango, 2 Alpha New Hampshire, 2 Alpha New Hampshire.
We got it right that time. Good luck in the contest.
7-3. The QSZ contest, W1BST. All right, W1BST, Whiskey 1 Bravo Sierra Tango, over.
Bravo Sierra Tango, I got it that time. You're 1 Alpha, Alpha.
Okay, your call sign, you're 2 Alpha New Hampshire.
2 Alpha, New Hampshire. My call sign is Whiskey 9 Golf.
Whiskey 9 GG, thanks a lot.
Good luck.
England, isn't it?
CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day, Whiskey 1, Papa, Sierra Tango. QSL, this is Whiskey 1, Bravo, Sierra Tango. You are 2 Alpha, New Hampshire. 2 Alpha, New Hampshire. Thank you, sir.
QSL 418, United November Sierra Field Day.
CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day, Whiskey 1, Bravo, Sierra Tango.
November
Burned.
Man, what a feed.
You're not lying, right?
Hang on, I'll find the salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Put that in the back. That's the salsa.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, breakfast is always the best. That's right. Yep.
Watching me eat.
He's taking pictures. I'm going to kill him.
Everybody with jackets and sweaters on here, sweatshirts. This is the second full day of summer.
That's right. That's right. It is.
You drop your knees, dude.
Arthur, you better get me.
With the handle. Yeah. It'll be heavier.
Radiation cool. They used to do 24 stations.
Yeah.
CQ Field Day, W1BST. QRZ Field Day, W1BST.
W1BST from Victor Echo 9, November Delta.
Victor Echo 9 November Delta, please copy 2 Alpha New Hampshire.